Get low down feeling in my hips from left to right. What is I might be doing this funky dance all night? Ah! Rock steady, baby. Rock steady, baby. Woo!
I feel good, like I knew that I would now. I feel good, just like I knew that I would. So good, so good, I got you. I feel nice, just like a sugar and spice, y'all. I feel nice, just like a sugar and spice. So nice, so nice, I got you. Hit me. Woo, come on. Listen, when I hold you in my arms, hey, I know that can't do you no harm. When I hold you in my arms, my love can't do you no harm. And I feel nice like a sugar and spice. I feel good, just like I knew that I would. Yeah, so good, so good, I got you. I feel good, just like I knew that I would now. I feel good, just like I knew that I would. Hey, so good, so good, I got you. So nice, I got you. So good, I got you. Hey, oh yeah, hey, oh yeah, I feel so damn good, yeah.
All right, I saw at least one blue towel waving, so it's time to start the party. Everyone, please take your seats. It's time to start the program. Please take your seats right now. We'll continue the conversation at our tables. I know we see a lot of family and friends, but it's time to sit down. Thank you so much for sitting down in your seats right now so we can begin our program. Thank you. You're so kind. All right, let's kick this thing off. Good evening, everyone. Okay, I know we've had our drinks in there. We're feeling nice and loose. Let's do that one more time. Good evening, everyone. All right. My name is LaToya Edwards, and I am your mistress of ceremonies for the evening. I am NECN's primetime evening anchor, and I should be at work, but I'm happy to be here with you this evening. So let's all take our seats, quiet our voices. Take our seats and quiet our voices so we can start this program off right. If somebody's talking, can you ask them to please be quiet? Wow, you are really good. Thank you so much. If you love Whittier Street Health Center and its amazing work for the people of Boston, let's give them a round of applause right now. Tonight we are here to roast Andrew Dreyfus, President and Chief Executive Officer of Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts. If you think Andrew Dreyfus is humble and yet awesome, let's give him a round of applause right now. Now, Andrew is a kindred spirit to Whittier Street Health Center. Andrew has shaped his career around ensuring affordable, accessible, quality health care. As president and CEO, Andrew leads Blue Cross Blue Shield's effort to make quality health care affordable. When he was Senior VP of Healthcare Services, he led the internal development of what has become one of the largest commercial payment reform initiatives in the nation. And when Andrew served as the first president of the company's foundation, he oversaw a series of policy initiatives that included the Roadmap to Coverage, a springboard for the Massachusetts healthcare reform law. Tackling healthcare reform from within the establishment, Andrew is driven by ingrained sense of mission and a passion for social justice. Isn't that right? Hello, isn't that right? All right. Considering the serious nature of his many accomplishments, containing costs while providing the highest quality of care is no easy business. We are eager to hear and see the lighter side of Andrew tonight. It is my pleasure now to introduce the participants in this evening's program. So get your hands ready to cheer right now as I welcome up our guests and introduce our roasters. First up, Mr. Philip J. Johnston, founder and president of the Philip J. Johnston Associates and board chair of Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts Foundation.
Yes.
Next up, a woman who really needs no introduction, the queen of the evening, Frederica Williams, president and CEO of Whittier Street Health Center. Let's show her some love. Next, Judy Ann Bigby, Menschel Senior Leadership Fellow in the Division of Policy, Translation, and Leadership Development at Harvard School of Public Health's Department of Health Policy. Let's welcome Judy Ann Bigby. Here we go. Next up, John Dukakis, Senior Vice President, Co-Director of Content at Hill Holliday. Next, Nancy Turnbull, Associate Dean for Educational Programs and a Senior Lecturer in Health Policy at the Harvard School of Public Health. Let's welcome Nancy. Now we welcome Dr. Edward J. Benz, Jr., President and CEO of Dana-Farber, and really a good friend to all of us who was roasted a couple years back by his son, and their relationship has never been the same since. Let's welcome Dr. Benz. And next we welcome Reverend Ray Hammond, MD, Bethel A&M founder and pastor, and Boston Kim Point Coalition chairman and co-founder, Reverend Ray Hammond, everyone. And now, I want everyone to please rise to your feet as we introduce the man who you all came to see, the man who we are rallying around, honoring, and ultimately roasting over the coals this evening. Please welcome Mr. Andrew Dreyfus. Look at the back of the room right there.
Feel the way that you do. You're all right. Whenever I'm asked who makes my dreams real, I say that you do. You're right aside.
Oh, high fives for Andrew.
People,
are you excited, Andrew? You look gorgeous.
He's bringing you out to truth. So
get ready, Andrew. Woo! I just whispered in his ear, good luck. You know what? We left off an important person who is on this panel. We have to give him equal love. Let's welcome now Matt Fishman, everyone, to the panel. So one of the best, you can all sit sit down now. So one of the best parts about this evening, if you've never attended, is the fact that everyone gets a theme song who comes up to the microphone. And it's fun to listen to the theme music and see what's been selected so carefully. And so now, it is my pleasure to introduce Whittier Street Health Center's president and CEO, Frederica Williams. Enjoy.
Go on now, go. Walk out the door. Just turn around now. You're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one who tried to hurt me with goodbyes? You think I'd crumble? Did you think I'd lay down and die? Oh, no, not I will survive. Oh, as long as I know hot love, I know I'll stay alive.
I will survive. Thank you. Thank you, Latoya. Good evening, and welcome to Whittier Street Health Center's 2013 Roast for Andrew Dreyfus. Tonight, we are honoring Andrew for his long-standing contributions to the health of our community. Over the years, his pioneering work in effecting change has reflected on the human side of healthcare, as well as the business side of healthcare. Andrew is truly a friend to Whittier Street Health Center, supporting us from the very beginning of his career right up to today. We are proud to honor him for his compassion for the vulnerable citizens of Massachusetts, for his foresight in making equal access to care a reality, and for his strength in bringing others together to solve our most complex healthcare issues. Before we begin tonight's festivities, I want to thank all of you for spending your evening with us. Like Andrew, we are addressing the pressing needs of our community and leveraging our visibility. In our case, our new building serves as a tangible symbol of our dedication to our community's health and well-being that will endure for lifetimes to come. With our Boston Health Equity Project, we're striving to change the delivery of community health care with a model of care that produces far better health outcomes at less cost. With our permanent home, we're showing the community that we're here for good, that we're a place they can trust, believe in, and stay with, and that we will continually evolve to meet their needs and interests. Our wellness program, for example, has been so successful that we're expanding it with a medical fitness center to address mind, body, and spirit. As continual innovators in community health care, we will launch a holistic, integrative medical model at our center to combat the high rates of chronic illnesses such as hypertension, diabetes, depression, and obesity in our patient population. We're planning to offer physical activities, meditation, acupuncture, yoga, expressive therapy, nutrition counseling, wellness support, and life coaching. This new 6,000 square foot medical fitness center will open to the community, our patients, and employees in August 2013. It's with the Thank you. Thank you. It's with the continued support of you, our donors and partners, that we can succeed in championing health equity for the most underserved and unhealthy populations in our city. By being here tonight, each one of you is helping us to reach our goals of promoting wellness and eliminating health and social disparities. On behalf of our patients and the Whittier team, I extend thanks to all of you for your attendance. I thank you too for recognizing the contributions of Andrew Dreyfus to healthcare. Long before he became president and CEO of Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts, Andrew was a champion of affordable, accessible, quality health care. Today, Andrew is leveraging his leadership of one of the largest nonprofit Blue Cross Blue Shield plans in the country to lead the charge on containing healthcare costs while delivering the highest quality of care. Andrew is a compassionate visionary who understands what it takes to help vulnerable populations like ours. He's a businessman driven by a social conscience. He believes in our model of care. He knows the impact we're making not only with the people we serve, but also on the bigger picture of broadening access and reducing barriers to care. Andrew is a compassionate businessman, healthcare advocate, coalition builder. He's the kind of leader who empowers people and brings out the best in them. His mission and our mission are aligned. For these reasons, we're honoring him tonight to thank him for helping us in our efforts to improve access, raise quality, provide affordability, and deliver the kind of care required in closing the gap on health and social disparities. We at WIDIA would also like to thank those who made this event possible. This great evening to honor Andrew could not have come together without the help of some very important people. First, I would like to thank co-chairs Phil Johnston, Matt Fishman, and Paul Gogan for their leadership, and thank you, Roast Committee, for your dedication and commitment. A special thanks goes to our roasters for providing us with what I believe will be great material on Andrew. Dr. Judy Ann Bigby, John Dukakis, Phil Johnston, and Nancy Turnbull. Thank you for your willingness to put Andrew on the hot seat. I would also like to thank our Toastmistress, Latoya Edwards, Dr. Benz, and Reverend Hammond for their contribution to this evening's program. The mayor will be joining us shortly, but I also want to thank him for being our special guest auctioneer. We thank him for the 11 years that he has masterfully handled our auction to raise important funds for WIDIA. We will miss his leadership in our city. We will miss his leadership in our city, and I personally will miss the assistance he has provided to me and to our patients. Our community thanks him for 20 years of unwavering concern for our well-being. We're incredibly fortunate to recognize the many, many donors who have chosen to support Whittier Street Health Center as we honor Andrew Dreyfus tonight. Our presenting sponsor, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts, Partners Healthcare System, our lead sponsor, NSTAR, our benefactor and my benefactor, Phil Johnston and the Phil W. Johnston Associates, our patrons, the Bill Companies LLP, Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, Eastern Bank, Goodwin Proctor LLP, John Hancock Financial Services, Liberty Mutual, Mintz Levine, Roxbury Technology Corporation, William Gallagher Associates. Thanks to our 25 contributors, people that are in the contributor categories, whose names are scrolling on the screen and are listed in the program booklet. We are grateful to you for your belief in us. With our combined commitment to comprehensive, innovative, and accessible healthcare, we will succeed in our mission. Thank you for taking a stand with us in championing equitable access to quality care for diverse populations. Thank you also to all of our table sponsors and friends for your continued support. A big thank you, certainly, to all of you for being here tonight. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you two of our co-chairs for this event, Phil Johnston and Matt Fishman. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.
Good evening. How'd you like that political entrance by Andrew? Be a great mayor, wouldn't he? Of course, he does live in Newton, but Hey, we're in Massachusetts. We can always make changes. Is Frederica the best or what? Huh? She wouldn't be a bad mayor either. You know, I was thinking this morning that how far we've come with the community health center movement, and I've been involved with this, I'm proud to say or maybe not so, I'm proud to say, but sad to say, it's been decades. And, you know, tomorrow will be the 45th anniversary of the death of Martin Luther King Jr. And tonight is the 45th anniversary of his great mountaintop speech. And it's a speech that Ray Hammond refers to frequently when he's speaking in his very inspirational way. And who would have thought 45 years ago, when many of us, when we were young, were involved in the civil rights movement, that today would have an African-American president, that we would have an African-American governor here in Massachusetts, and that we would live in a country and in a state in which every man, woman, and child is guaranteed high-quality, affordable health care. Is that something to celebrate or not? And in addition to Martin Luther King and other heroes, not only in civil rights, but people who have spent their careers protecting vulnerable people in our society, including the current mayor of Boston, Tom Menino, who, as Frederica says, will be joining us at some point during the evening, but people like Jim Hunt and other community health center leaders across the Commonwealth and across the country. But I always think of Ted Kennedy, because it was Ted Kennedy who started this whole movement in 1965. And I remember on the first anniversary of his death, his family had a mass in Hyannisport that I was privileged to attend, and I was talking to Dave Burke, who was his chief of staff in 1965, and he told me this story which tells you everything there is to know about Ted Kennedy, but also tells you a lot about the community health centers. Dave Burke said, I was there the day that Ted Kennedy went to the Columbia Point model, which was the first one in the United States. And Ted Kennedy was so impressed by what he saw there, community-controlled health care for people in a low-income, at that time, strictly low-income housing project. He bounced out of the building and he said to Dave, Dave, we're going to file legislation to create these health centers all over the United States. But he said, did you notice what they have in there for pregnant women? And Dave said, no, I didn't notice. And he said, they have rocking chairs. They have rocking chairs for pregnant women. And he said, Dave, when you write that bill, you make sure you have a requirement that every community health center has a rocking chair for pregnant women. I don't know if we have rocking chairs for pregnant women. Yeah, she does. Okay. When Ted Kennedy died, there were 22 million people in this country who were getting their primary health care through community health centers. And under the Affordable Care Act, affectionately known as Obamacare, that figure is going to be 40 million. And isn't that a great thing to celebrate as well? So all of us who have been involved in this movement care a lot about Whittier Street. We care a lot about all of the community health centers across the Commonwealth and across the country. But tonight is very, very special for those of us who also care about Andrew Dreyfus. He's been my friend for 30 years, and we're going to have a little fun with you tonight, Andrew, but we'll be fairly gentle. But we'll see you in a little while. I want to introduce another guy with whom, and by the way, Andrew and I and Matt all work together, which I'll talk about a little bit later when I'm roosting. And LaToya, I hope you don't get your health care from Mass General Hospital, because you forgot to introduce Matt. But no, that's all right. It's just a little joke. Yeah. Please welcome the great, wonderful Matt Fishman from Partners Health.
Thank you, Phil. Good evening, everyone. Well, health insurance people on the one hand, and health center leaders, doctors, and hospital people on the other hand, don't always find a lot of common ground. But tonight is different. We can all agree that we are delighted to be here, to celebrate Andrew and to celebrate an exceptional health center, Whittier Street. Andrew and Frederica Williams and her board and staff at Whittier Street take strong, proactive roles in advocating for patients and connecting them to high-quality health insurance and high-quality care. Our city, where, as Phil just mentioned, the community health center movement was born, and our state hold unique roles in our nation's history because of innovative, far-sighted leaders like Andrew and exceptional health centers like Whittier Street, and because of the exceptional progress their work has enabled us to make. Progress in ensuring that people have affordable insurance coverage, access to outstanding care, and ultimately healthier and better lives. To give just one example, Andrew's leadership at the Blue Cross Foundation in 2004 through the Roadmap to Coverage was essential to the state's decision to enact near universal coverage in 2006. And as a result of that decision and hard work by people throughout this room and throughout the state, Massachusetts has the lowest percentage of uninsured people of any state in the nation. Andrew, I am delighted to have been your friend and colleague, to have worked with you, and to have been inspired by you for the past 30 years. Congratulations on this enormously well-deserved recognition of your leadership. So it's now my pleasure to introduce, I believe this is Ed Benz is next, yes, to introduce Dr. Ed Benz, President and CEO of the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, an exceptional leader in American medicine, and equally important for this evening, an exceptional and extraordinary partner for the Whittier Street Health Center. Ed.
Well, thank you very much and welcome. I actually do have a few things to say that are ordered to be said by Frederica, so I will say them precisely right. But I did want to welcome you, Andrew, to a club you're about to join, which is the club of people who have been roasted at this event. And I wanted you to know something about how you got chosen. You had many, many people who thought this would be a wonderful honor for you. So there's no question about that. But your most enthusiastic supporters were people who had been previously roasted. Because we have found that after you finish the roast, you enter that class of people that we now know as survivorship. The long psychic bruises and emotional bruises. And while the Reverend Hammond has been greatly helpful with us and the spiritual aspects of that, we decided this requires medical care. And we have formed a Whittier Street Roast survivorship group. And we have been trying to get a CPT code. And we figure who better to help us get reimbursed for our costs than Andrew Dreyfus. So you get a double dip. First you get the roast, and then you have us in your office next week. I do, on behalf of all of us in the provider side of healthcare, and the academic and caregiving side of healthcare, want to just join in saying what a wonderful choice we have to honor tonight in Andrew. He has just been a phenomenal person to work with, someone where you can walk in the room and know whatever it is that's going to be difficult, you don't have to worry about being aligned around the values and the mission of what we're all trying to do, and how we would see success happening once we get through all of the challenges of a very complicated system. So, Andrew, it's great to have you as a colleague. Now, I have a very pleasant job to do, and to tell you that, you know, advocacy for healthcare accessibility and affordability and quality, the kind that Andrew really exemplifies and represents at Blue Cross, is resonating with all of us now. And one of the things that's an important equation to remember tonight is that if we support accessible, affordable, quality health care for any individual person, one of the great things that flows from that, if you just think through it for a minute, is that we will end up providing equitable care for everyone. If each and every person has to have this, then every person will have this. And I think it's a wonderful philosophy to carry into our dealing with issues like healthcare disparities that the Whittier Street serves so well. So the innovation and the dedication and the attention provided by Whittier reflect not only the leadership of the staff, but of the community which supports it. And we should all feel that we want to continue in a very real way to be part of that community support. So rather than going on about what actually happens at Whittier, I'm going to let the work speak for itself with this video that we're going to show for just a few minutes.
Many of the communities that Whittier serves face barriers to healthcare access, impacting their ability to prioritize health and leading to significant disparities in health outcomes.
With the move to a new building in 2012, we now have the capacity that complements our ability to champion equitable access to high-quality health care. We have launched a bold 5-year plan through our Boston Health Equity Project. With this plan, we will double the number of people served by 2017, improve key health indicators, and address the disparities associated with race, ethnicity, income, and the environment in the communities that have had the heaviest burden of health problems.
In a state where nearly everyone has health insurance, Whittier's patient population is 35% uninsured.
What we've learned and what we know is that having an insurance card alone, that's not enough. We need to make sure that patients have a whole array of services to make sure they get the care they need. That's where the Whittier Street Health Center comes in.
Whittier offers over 40 health and social services, connecting patients to primary care, wellness and prevention, and specialty clinics, empowering them to become advocates of their own health.
The idea of the medical home was actually started especially for primary care to help patients essentially get a better experience with accessing health care. To have one team, a multidisciplinary team, sort of helping them navigate the medical system. It improves access to care, it improves, patient satisfaction, and it helps with coordination of care.
At Whittier Street Health Center, we're working on integration of behavioral health into medical health. And it's really a very important initiative because so many people who come have reasons that they don't believe in mental health care, separate from their doctor visits.
For a lot of our patients, we have to realize that they can't really get well physically without being well mentally. And the fact that we have a mental health department here, I think really makes it easier.
Health ambassadors focus on community outreach as part of Whittier's unique healthcare delivery model.
We have a program here partly funded through AstraZeneca that allows us to go into the community with health ambassadors who are members of the community. They identify people in the community who may or may not have access to health care currently and may or may not have health insurance, and identify people with risk factors for cardiovascular disease.
The causes of racial and ethnic disparities in pediatric obesity are multifactorial. Through the childhood obesity programs at Whittier Street Health Center, a multidisciplinary team is working together to reduce these disparities by linking children to physical activity resources, nutrition education classes, increasing access to healthy foods, and enrolling kids in our after-school physical activity program.
To reduce cancer disparities in low-income and minority communities, Whittier has formed a partnership with the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute.
Patients that we see at Whittier Street come from a traditionally underserved community, and this community has been historically reluctant to seek care. Ultimately, the way we address these racial and ethnic disparities is by leveling the playing field and by making sure that patients from any background, they have the same access to the best possible cancer care as any other person in the state of Massachusetts or anywhere.
The American Cancer Society, and it talks to you about what is breast cancer. One of the goals of the Cancer Education Center is to provide a warm and inviting space for the patients, the staff, and the community to find cancer-related health information. To meet the needs of the diverse population that we serve in the greater Boston area, we offer culturally appropriate materials.
We were recently accredited by the NCQA as a golden level patient-centered medical home, which is their highest ranking. Being a patient-centered medical home means we take responsibility for the full array of our patients' care using a team-based approach. That is, delivering care for all stages in all ages of life, addressing the needs of the whole person, focusing on wellness and prevention, chronic care, acute care, end-of-life issues, and assisting patients with care coordination for services offered at Whittier and services offered at our hospital partners, and also coordinating care with emergency room departments to reduce the unnecessary use of emergency room services.
With this integration of services, Whittier hopes to significantly improve the health of the community served and make a positive impact on the high cost of health care.
I always have to remind our patients that they're not sick only when they feel sick. You know, part of primary care is for them to seek care even when they feel well to prevent getting sick.
In the United States, there are about 500,000 preterm deliveries every year, and this costs us a lifetime cost of $26 billion over a lifetime. So if you can make a small impact on the rate of preterm delivery, it could have enormous benefits to our society.
Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts was founded 75 years ago on the principle that everyone in our community should have the same access to quality, affordable health care. Those have been our values since our founding. We look for community partners who share those values. Whittier Street provides care to people all over Greater Boston in their language, in a culturally sensitive way. Whittier Street not only provides medical care, provides social support, wellness, nutrition, outreach. That's the kind of care for the whole person. It's really the model for healthcare for the future.
We measure our performance and health improvements and know that the Boston Health Equity Project will have positive impact in the lives of our patients and serve as a model for innovative, cost-effective, results-driven, community-based health care.
The model of care that Whittier relies on to fulfill the promise of the Boston Health Equity cause is largely in place, and its potential for success is reflected in the growth of the center's patient population. However, further innovations will strengthen Whittier's capacity to improve community health on a much larger scale. With your support, Whittier will continue to offer its virtual clinics at public housing developments and in the community, launch its much-needed medical fitness center to expand its holistic care, advance medical record technologies, and foster strong partnerships with other medical centers and Boston public schools.
Well, thank you. You've had only a glimpse of what makes Whittier unique, and I can tell you on behalf of not just me, but the many staff that we have that come over to Whittier to work and share care with our colleagues there, that it is a phenomenal organization, and that Frederica and her colleagues deserve our enormous thanks for the kind of care that they give and the way that they're able to use partnerships to add even more of the care. So thank you, Frederica. Of course, I'd also like to thank Frederica for putting so many of my staff on these videos and on TV spots so often, so that I now have the opportunity to negotiate with their celebrity agents done wonders for our payroll. Yeah. So my last very pleasant task is to enlist your help in making sure that the wonderful work that goes on at the Whittier Street Health Center will continue to flourish and can do even more. On your table are envelopes and pens. I'm going to ask that each of you reach into your wallets, pull out your checkbooks or credit cards, and make a substantial donation right now in support of the life-changing work that Whittier does. Checks should be made out to the Whittier Street Health Center. If you're unable to contribute this evening, we'll gladly accept a pledge. Please remember that your donation will support health care for those who can least afford to be without it. Please make a difference right now and right here, won't you? And to get the evening started off, Peggy and I would like to offer our envelope to Frederica. So thank you very much, and please be as generous as you can.
I feel like busting loose, busting loose. I feel like busting loose, y'all. Give me the bridge, y'all. I feel like busting loose, give me the bridge. Bustin' loose in the meantime. Bustin' loose when you feel fine. I feel like bustin' loose. Bustin' loose to my love, John. Bustin' loose to each his own, yes. I feel like bustin' loose. Bustin' loose. Yes. I feel like bustin' loose. Give me the bridge now. Bustin' loose. Bustin' loose. Bustin' loose to my love, John. Bustin' loose to each his own. Hey, I feel like bustin' loose. Bustin' loose when you do your thing. Bustin' loose just to keep you swing. I feel like bustin' loose. Bustin' loose to my love, Jones. Bustin' loose to each his own. I feel like bustin' loose. Bustin' loose when you do your thing. Bustin' loose just to keep you swing, yes. Give me the bridge now. Hey, come on, yeah. Bust, come bustin' loose. Bust. Swing, bust it, hey, got to do your thing and keep it in the swing. Hey, bust it loose, got to bust it loose. Come on, and bust it loose, bust it loose, bust it loose. Listen. Give me the bridge now. Give me the bridge. Come on. Bust, go. Come on. Bust it up. Yeah. On the head. Bustin', bustin', bust, 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 bust the loser. That's it. Bust the loser. Bust the loose when you do your thing. Bust the loose just to keep your swine. Ooh. Bust the loser. Do the book that got to do it. Come on, yeah, bust it to it. Ooh, do boom, 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 boom. Hey, how, good, how. Hey, oh, come on, bust, bust, come on, hey, bust. Yeah, now, give me. Big swing, do your thing, push. Give me the bridge now.
Let's give it up for the band. I feel like busting loose. Wonderful job. Amazing.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. The song was I Feel Like Busting Loose. Now the song is I Feel Like Sitting Down. Let's all take our seats. Thank you so much for filling out the blue cards. If we can all take our seats right now, quiet the room. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for taking your seats as we continue our program to get you out of here on time and get to our dinner and the roast. So if you can please take your seats, we'd like to continue the program now. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking your seats and filling out these cards as we continue our program. And if you see someone standing beside you and talking, say, hey, please sit down. Thank you very much. It's time for the invocation so we can continue our program. And I would like you now to help me welcome to the microphone Reverend Hammond, everyone.
All right. Would you join me first in just saying thank you to Devin? I'm going to ask him to stand up, who got drafted for the video. This is Frederica's son. Well, let's just thank him for participating. Yeah. As he and most of us can attest, you do not hang around Frederica Williams very long without doing something for Whittier Street Health Center. It's always a privilege to participate in this Whittier Street dinner. The organization is wonderful, the people who come to the dinner are great, and the honorees are really special people. And everything I know about Andrew Dreyfus suggests that he is one of those special people as well. But I was reminded of the words of the Apostle Paul to his son in the ministry, Timothy. He writes to him, never be in a hurry about appointing a church leader. In other words, you should do a little due diligence, check the person out before you recommend them, endorse them, or give an invocation at an event in their honor. So I did a little due diligence, and I have to tell you that I found a few things that raised some questions. I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but I thought I would share my concerns, and perhaps all of us could work this out together. I have a few slides with some evidence that I'd like to offer for your consideration, and our purpose is to answer this simple question. Andrew Dreyfus, can we trust this man? First, I asked for images of Andrew, and I was struck by how many of those pictures had him smiling. A smile here and there is certainly fine, but smiling all the time? I don't know. Doesn't he know that he's in Puritan New England, where smiling is a sign of frivolity and a lack of gravitas? This is the place where Christmas celebrations were against the law for more than 20 years. Is he not in touch with the seriousness of life? Is he on something that makes life seem much rosier than it really is? I don't know the answer to these questions, but this is an important question to be pondered. Second, is he focused? I've examined his resume, and although it's impressive, it seems a little disjointed. He starts out as a newspaper editor and press aide. Those seem to make sense. There's some connection and continuity there. But then he kicks journalism to the curb and seems to enter a government phase. He certainly does well there, but then, as best I can tell, someone dangles a carrot connected to healthcare in front of him, and he's moved over to the Massachusetts Health Association. Then he shifts to philanthropy, then back to healthcare management. Now, he's been there for a little while, but you have to wonder if there's something inside of him just waiting to move in another direction. Let's hope not. Finally, and perhaps most disturbingly, I ask, is he too competitive? This hadn't even occurred to me until I came across a troubling quote by Karen Weintraub from a series on Boston.com of health tips by Boston notables. She writes, Dreyfus, President and Chief Executive Officer of Blue Cross Blue Shield, said he takes at least 10,000 steps on weekdays and 15,000 on weekends, competing with his 13-year-old daughter to get the most. I'm all for fitness thing, but competing with a 13-year-old? Has he considered the impact on her self-esteem? Who else is he competing with? Does he play fair? Well, in honesty, I also decided it was important for purposes of fairness to tell the other side of the story. And of course, there is another story. And so I have on the other hand. Now, on the other hand, what can you say bad about a guy who cares about compassionate care for all, opportunity for all, and health care for all through his service in such organizations as the Schwartz Center for Compassionate Healthcare and United Way and Jobs for Massachusetts and the Boston University School of Public Health? What can you say bad about a guy who's been working for much of his life to make Massachusetts a model to the nation of what it really means to pursue the Commonwealth and common health? So let's bow our heads and join our hands as we give thanks for our honoree, the organization that celebrates him, and our food. Tonight, oh God, we really give thanks for an economy slowly on the mend, for a future brighter than when last we met, and for a servant of others and a friend, Andrew Dreyfus. Bless him, a man who has given his life to the work of blessing others. Bless him for his many achievements over a long life of service, for his commitment to the belief that in business of healthcare you can do good and do well. Bless him and his family for all he's done to make America a nation that values every citizen and provides opportunities for all to live. We give thanks for the amazing work and leadership of the Whittier Street Health Center, for their beautiful new facility, and for their wonderful old commitment to the restoration of body, soul, and mind, for their determination that no matter how hard the times may be, they will provide quality care for all, and especially for the least of these. And finally, we give thanks for this bread as we share in this wonderful meal, mindful of our obligation to remember and help the homeless, the hungry, and those displaced. For all this, we give thanks to you, and together we say, amen.
Reverend Ray Hammond, everyone. Thank you so much. That was the most entertaining invocation I've ever seen. Thank you so much. And now one of the most exciting parts of this evening where all of you get to participate. I know some of you have already been looking in your program book at the auction items you intend to win. You will find your auction paddles at your tables. Please raise your paddle very high to bid on an item. If you're the lucky person to win an item, a Whittier volunteer will come to you and take down your information. Remember to bid high, bid often, bid against yourself. I'm now pleased to introduce to you our guest auctioneer, a man who really needs no introduction, a man who will always be our mayor, Mayor Tom Menino, everyone.
I'm a soul man. I'm a soul man. Yeah. I'm a soul man. That's what you are. I'm a soul man. Just what I got the hard way, and I'll make it better each and every day. He's so honey, and don't you fret, 'cause you ain't seen nothing yet. He's a soul man, hey. He's a soul man, that's right.
Thank you, LaToya, for that introduction. I still have 9 months left. And could you imagine a mayor like me with 9 months? You don't have to worry about the press. You don't have to worry about constituencies. You can do anything you want to do. Wow. I got through a lot of bombs in 9 months, so watch out. I'm here for 2 reasons. First of all, I want to congratulate Frederica on the great new health center she has. Now, I've been there several times. It serves diversity of our city so well. You go into that building, you see so many different people from all over the world, and you're getting the best health care possible. But the other thing with Frederica, she's the only one who built a building like that. It didn't cost her 1 penny. She is an... I'm exposing you. See, I told you, I have nothing to worry about now. You're in everybody's pocket and pleading and saying, oh, I just need it. How could you say no to her? With the people she serves. And so we all did it because cities are better for it. And so I just thank you, Whittier Street, for great work you've done. Andrew Dreyfus, I haven't got many things to say about him because in January I'll be looking for a job. Maybe they can hire me. I've got a couple offers today. One to be a dishwasher. Clayton Turnbull says I can make donuts at his donut shops. So I'm on the road to real economic boom for myself. But Andrew Dreyfus, you know, he's a great guy, seriously. And remember he invited me out to a work site last summer, I think it was, over in Columbia Point. His whole team was working really hard. And there was one person there who was just standing around like this. That was Andrew. He said, look at my great workers. He wasn't doing a thing. But hey, that's the CEO, you know. We're like that. And the other thing, do you ever have a late meeting with Andrew in the afternoon when he hasn't done his 10,000 steps? You don't sit at a desk. You keep on walking until he gets his 10,000 steps each day. But I just want to say we're so lucky to have Andrew Dreyfus with us in the city of Boston and Blue Cross Blue Shield. You know, as mayor of the city for 20 years, I've never dealt with somebody who's been so upfront, who cares about people and cares about what their needs are and is making a difference in Boston. So Andrew, a lot of people are going to take a shot at you tonight. Just remember, the mayor was nice to you. When I come and see you on January 2nd with a resume, you know, you might need a file clerk or something like that. I'll be there. But now I'm down to the serious part of this business. I'm the roaster. You know, in an Italian house, when you're between, you stop a meal, you get your hands cut off. And so I am here to do this auction very quickly and raise a lot of money. So let me just say, Frederica, when it comes to money, she gets really excited. Do you notice her hair goes up in the air and her smile gets bigger?
I'm always smiling.
Oh, you always smile, yeah. I know sometimes you weren't smiling, pal. I won't tell you those days. Those are going to be my book. You might be in my book. Anybody in this room? Let me say, the first item we have, this is a very special one because very few people can have this opportunity. It includes breakfast with me. Just think about that. Enjoy a lovely breakfast with me as we talk about our beautiful city of Boston and touch upon the issues of the day. Only lobbyists may apply. I gotta say anything anyway, don't I care? Wind down the day back here at the Fairmount Copley for an overnight stay of rest and relaxation. Awake refreshed for a fun day at Fenway Park with 4 Red Sox tickets. The day is to be determined. Your supporters helping break down barriers to health care for those that are hardest to reach in our community, young men. Your donation will provide support for 25 uninsured men aged 18 to 34 to receive 2 free clinical visits. The donations were made by the mayor's office. That's me. All he gave you is breakfast? Jeez, they're a bunch of cheapskates. And if you go high enough, I'll give you dinner. All right? Breakfast only eggs and ham and bacon or something like that. Or, some other people don't eat that stuff. We'll have Rice Krispies, all right? So if you don't get more than I want, you'll have Rice Krispies. If you get a lot more than I want, I'll take you to dinner. At an Italian restaurant of my choice. The Fairmount Copley was a donator, and Donahue, Barrett, and Signal also were part of this great donation. So I'm going to start this bid at $3,000. I'm reading what they tell me to say, so I'm just going what they say, you know. Anybody want to give me $3,000 for this? If we put the lights up down there so I can see what's going on. Right, there's $3,000 right back there. Do I have $3,500, $3,000 right there, $3,500 out there, $3,500 way back there. Do I have $4,000? $4,000 any place out there? $3,500 right there. Do I have $4,000? $4,000 any place? What a bargain this is, I'm telling you. People are fighting to get to see me. That's the best part of this. The ball game, who cares? $3,500 out there. Anybody else got $4,000 any place out there? $4,000 out there? $3,500 once. $4,000 right there. You have $4,000 right there. Do we have anybody $4,500? Yeah, we gave $3,000. $3,000. Let's go to $4,000 back there. Another $1,000 would mean a lot. Right off income tax. $4,000 any place around this hall. Any place? $3,500 right there. Do I have $4,000 any place around here? $4,000 any place in the hall? $3,500 going once. Where? 4,000. I'm sorry. What am I doing? I'm losing my mind. Early Alzheimer's. Do you have a place to send me?
Yes.
4,000. 4,000. We have 4,500. 4,500 is one place out there. 4,000 once, twice. Sold right there, gentlemen, right there. All right, here's another one. Time what? Where's the music? Where's the music? Dun, 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 dun. I'm reading the script. What do you want me to do?
All right, y'all. Woo. Like a fool, I went and stayed too long. Now I'm back to show my love is still strong. Ooh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered, and lost.
All right, here's the wicked, awesome Boston package. How many people love Boston as much as I do? Raise your hand. All right, all of you's bid $3,000. Okay, thank you. If you do, this is the complete package for you and some of your closest friends. The crack of the bat may be a little startling. This package begins with EMC front row tickets to the Boston Red Sox. You've seen Boston by foot, by car, overhead in the air. But what about water? Enjoy 4 sightseeing passes to see Boston via the Charles Riverboat Company. Ooh, I've never done that. I'll have time next summer to do that. Huh? Feeling like inviting a few more friends and seeing the Sox play more? Well, come back to Fenway again and take in a ball game in a corporate box on May 25th. Boston Red Sox versus Cleveland Indians. Francona's back on May 25th. You can boo them or cheer them. I think you should cheer them. As the summer dies down, it's time to cheer on the New England Patriots as they gear up for the 2013 season with 3 preseason tickets. After your long summer enjoying all Boston has to offer, it is time to wind down with accommodations for 2 nights at the Boston Park Plaza with dinner for 2. You know, while you're enjoying these fine experiences, you'll be pleased to know that your donations supporting Whittier's Art Therapy Department. Now, the Art Therapy Department provides service to children with special needs, helps seniors with motor skills and breathing capacity, and helps young girls who have been affected by violence in their life. And that's donated by the Red Sox, Charles River Boat Company, John Jenkins, and the Boston Park Plaza. So now, that's a wonderful day. Oh my God. You can make a lot of friends with this one. You take 4 friends on the Charles River boat, they go to the ball game, then you go to the Patriots game, preseason. You have accommodations at night here, 2 nights at the Park Plaza. Wow. Anybody want to give me $3,000 for that? $3,000 right there. Do I have $3,500? $3,000? $3,000? Don't put your hand up. You're going to bid if it's $3,000 there. Do I have $3,500? $3,500 out there someplace. $3,500 someplace out there. $3,500 out there. Oh, come on, please. Huh? $3,000, $3,500 any place out there. $3,500 any place out there. Who wants to? Where? $3,500. Where's it? Back there. $3,500. Thank you. Thank you. Do we have $4,000? $3,500 there. Do we have $4,000? $3,500 out there. $3,500 once, twice. Sold to this gentleman right here. Thank you very much.
Mustang Sally. I guess you better slow your Mustang down, sweet mama. Mustang Sally, my baby.
Thank you. A weekend getaway for mom or a special lady in your life. Let the pampering begin. I might bid on this one. Her day will begin with a complimentary wash blowout in style by Blow of the South End. Next, she's off to makeup application, eyebrow shaping provided by Katrina Hess of Newbury Street. Vera Wang and Nicole Miller, Oscar de Laurent, after all dolled up, time to slip in on your outfit for the evening, provided by Rent the Runaway. After all the prep and pamper for mom, the night includes 2 dinner for 2 at City Table, an overnight stay at the Lennox Hotel. And we can't forget about the father or the boyfriend or partner Come back another weekend, suit his interest, and take a game at Fenway, 2 tickets to the Red Sox game. It's awesome. Mother's Day's coming up, folks. You get out of this big, any guys here in the big doo-doo? Huh? You bid this and you win this one, you'll be back in the hoop. Huh? While Mom is enjoying this amazing weekend getaway, your donation will be supporting other moms in the city of Boston. This package allows 5 women to attend a program at Whittier Street, Whittier's Pregnancy and Me classes, which helps expectant mothers lead healthy lives to ensure the health of their bodies. You know, you heard who's sponsoring this one. Blowhead, Studio of the South End, Katrina Hess at Newbury Street, Lenny Lawrence, the Lennox Hotel, and Phil Johnson. Phil, you're okay back there. I've been told to start off at, what do you think? $3,000. There's no creativity in these bids. We gotta get. I usually can start my own numbers, but they gave it. All right, who wants $3,000 for this? It's great for all us guys who sometimes go off the deep end and we have to do something for Mother's Day. What a great Mother's Day gift this is. If you have 3,000, nobody's in, I guess no guys are in bad shape yet. Are you a woman and want a bit of your mother? $3,000 out there, any place, $3,000. Any place out there with $3,000 for this gift? Anybody out there who want to bid $3,000 for this? $3,000. All right. She's silence. Do anybody want to give me, what do you want to give me for it? No one wants to give me $3,000. We give me $2,500? Everybody give me $2,500. Nobody cares about the mom? Okay. Remember, I know a lot of you folks in this room. And tomorrow morning, I'll be emailing your wives, saying you had the opportunity for a great time. You know, just think about hairdresser, manicure, clothes, ball game, hotel. So none of you guys care. Okay, thank you very much, not bidding. Watch the emails you go out tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, I'll send them out quickly. Because, Frederica, I want the invitation list. I want the invitation list. Because none of these guys... Oh, hey. A Boston Public School graduate, right here. Neckin TV, right here. She did a business page, she does it all. Thank you. Okay, here's another, okay. Play your music.
I've got sunshine on a cloudy day. When it's cold outside, I've got the month of May.
Play more, will you? All right, here we are, the last one. If you don't bid on this one, folks, the dinner will not be served. I'm serious. You know, I tell you, I have a lot of fun, right? I close the kitchen down right away. Call the health department in and say something's wrong. I have to prove it. I just do it. So you better bid on this one high. Summer fun in the city and the sea. This package is for summer fun. 4 EMC Club Red Sox tickets. Enjoy a game. After the game, enjoy a Friday night in the up-and-coming Seaport District. The Friday night stay at the Seaport Hotel. Pack your bags and head down to the Cape for a week stay at a private home, Eastham, Mass. We're not saying yet, we're 4 other families, that's okay. No, I'm just kidding. Waterfront property, sleep 6, is close to the ocean, in Bay Beaches. Well, down on the Cape, take in a Cape Cod Baseball League game, 4 tickets to see any of your favorite Cape team on any night. After the Cape getaway, get back to Boston to watch the Red Sox one more time before the season's over. 2 tickets to the Red Sox, date to be determined. They're donated by Suffolk Construction, Seaport Hotel, and Phil Johnson once again. While you watch Boston's premier athletes, know that your support is helping support Whittier's Race Around Roxbury program, a pediatrics health, weight, and exercise program for at-risk young people. And I've been told to ask for, I'm not going to ask that again. Everyone give me $2,500 for that. 25, it's not 2,500. 2,500, do I have 3,000 out there? 25 out there, 3,000, any place out there? 25, this is cheap. 25, 3,000 over there, you have 3,500 out there. 35, any place out there? 3,000 over there, 3,500. 3,000, 3,500 right there. Do we have $4,000? We have 3,500, $4,000. You have 4,500 any place out there? 4,000, 4,500, 4,500. Come on, raise your paddle. Don't be bashful. You didn't bid on the mom thing. You have to bid on this one, pal. $4,000, $4,500 out there any place? 4,000, 4,000, 4,500, 4,500. Having a conversation. There's what? 4,500. Yeah, come on now. You sleep 6, you can invite a couple of your friends. $4,000 out there. Do I have anybody else? 4,000 once, twice, sold right over here. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me just say thank you very much. When you help Whittier Street, you help folks in our city who need the help the most. They really serve the diversity of our city. Just visit there, you'll see the great work that's done there every day. And to Andrew Dreyfus, thank you for caring. Thank you for making a difference in so many people's lives in the city of Boston. Thank you.
Let's give it up for Mayor of Boston, Tom Menino, a man who we love to see, so sad to see go. Thank you so much for your support of the Whittier Street Health Center, always and forever. Tom Menino, we love you. Thank you so much for taking your seats. And now the moment we've all been waiting for. Tonight we have our first roaster, Phil Johnston. Phil consults nationally and locally on health and human services issues. His resume includes Massachusetts Secretary of Health and Human Services and New England Administrator of U.S. Health and Human Services Post. He is currently serving as board chairman of the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts Foundation, among many other board affiliations. Phil obviously is no stranger to the work and dedication of tonight's honoree, Andrew Dreyfus. Please help me now as we Thank you. Please help me welcome Phil Johnston to the microphone.
Thank you, LaToya.
Ain't too proud to beg, my sweet darling, please don't leave me, girl. Ain't too proud to plead, baby, baby, please don't leave me, girl.
It's a good thing there are a lot of doctors here. I think I've lost the hearing in my left ear. But you're great. It's a great band. Give them a round of applause. Thank you. I also think I lost my Cape House because I think the mayor by mistake auctioned it off twice. But, hey, my Cape House. Yeah. Hey, listen, it's only a house. So. I thought I'd say a few words about my pal Andrew and before I do that, I just wanted to note the great political diversity up here. I worked for Dukakis, Andrew Dreyfus worked for Dukakis, Matt Fishman worked for Dukakis, Nancy Turnbull worked for Dukakis, and we have a Dukakis here. But at least we're all Democrats up here. That requires a lot more applause than that. Okay, apparently, well, we have a diverse crowd out here, I guess. Well, whatever. So Andrew and I met, as I mentioned earlier, 30 years ago exactly, when I was Secretary of Human Services, and he was a young aide, and believe it or not, he then had very dark hair and a very dark beard. He was a star then, as he is now, but I think, you know, even though he worked tirelessly in state government for Dukakis and me, I don't know how many of you are aware of the fact that he had another sort of moonlighting job, which that he was the dance critic for the Boston Herald. How many of you knew that? See? Oh, well, those of you who are on the payroll naturally would know, but the rest of you wouldn't. And he met Lynn Modell when he was the dance critic for the Herald. I don't think the Herald has a dance critic anymore. They're focused on other issues. But we won't talk about that. And so he knew Lynn, and Lynn at the time was a very prominent dancer in the Boston dance scene. And Andrew kept writing these reviews, and every time there was a review, she would hope that he would write about her. And now this is sort of a multiple choice question for everybody here. But which review do you think he wrote? The one that referred to her as the stunning Lynn Modell? That would be A. B, the one that said that Lynn was like something out of a Modigliani painting. How do you like that? With her long, graceful neck. Or the one that failed to mention Lynn at all. Would have been C. But it did work out, and they later married and had two great children, Leah and Eli, who are here tonight. But I think she might have harbored some resentment about the fact that she was never Now I know that looks like Ginger Rogers. You know who that is on the, would be my left, your right, I guess, would be Andrew. I know that looks like Ginger Rogers. It was actually Lynn during a blonde phase that she had. And I'm not sure what the evening was, but it was, I think it was the night that one of the, it was a fairly recent event actually, and I think it was a night when they were celebrating the fact that one of the major hospitals in the state caved into Andrew's negotiating techniques and saved Blue Cross many millions of dollars. Or it could have been the night that he was appointed CEO of Blue Cross, but I remember it so well because they were, as you can see, having a romantic evening for themselves. And I remember Andrew telling me what happened. He was a little upset afterwards because he said to Lynn, you know, he said, I feel so great. I feel on top of the world. I'm CEO of Blue Cross. I have this great family. I'm prominent in the community now, et cetera, et cetera. I think I'm gonna make love 365 nights this year. And Lynn said, great, put me down for 2. To which Andrew said, you animal. Now, anybody who knows Andrew very well, and a lot of people in this room do, understand that he's the personification of calm. He just doesn't get upset. I swear to God, you could detonate a nuclear bomb next to him and he wouldn't flinch. And I well remember when we were in state government and there were bombs going off all the time, because in my job and in our office, that's the sort of nature of the job. Right, Judy? Yeah. She knows as well as I do. And he was always, always, always calm. It sort of reminded me of Dorothy Parker's great line when somebody told Dorothy Parker that Calvin Coolidge had died, and she said, "How could they tell?" Now, oh yeah, how do you like that? Now, I know that looks like Andrew during the disco period, but he's actually, again, a relatively recent picture. By the way, the woman in the back is Barbara Bergman, who has been his long-suffering but loyal aide. And that's a kind of polyester suit that Andrew favors at work. He usually shows up at the Landmark Center with a yellow polyester suit and that open shirt. And that particular day, there was a group of protesters who were against the idea that people should have health insurance. So they were against the health reform that we were pushing and that Obama and Deval Patrick and so on were pushing. So what he's doing there is not actually dancing. He's, unlike Andrew, he actually got very upset when the horde of protesters started to try to invade the Landmark Center, and he's there trying to push them away. And I don't know if you remember when Barney Frank, do you remember when Barney Frank was assaulted at one of his community meetings when he was talking about Obamacare, and he said to one of the people that talking to her about health reform was like talking to his dining room table? Well, that's sort of what we had here with these folks who were demonstrating, and they had a lot of placards, and I'll show you the placards, and I'm not saying that these people are stupid, but I will tell you that I think they learned spelling from Dan Quayle. So this is one of the placards that they had. Great fans of Fox television. Euthanasia. Be very careful of those euthanasia attempts by the government. Kill your grandma, particularly if she's Asian. And that's Obama, not Obama. I think there was a song in the 50s by Richie Havens, La Mamba. Remember that? And my very favorite it's actually my second favorite. My very favorite is the last one. Takes a minute. Andrew, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, you've been a brother for 30 years. We've been brothers, kind of like Groucho and Harpo, but we've had a great run for 30 years. He's the best friend anybody could have. Congratulations, Andrew.
Great job, Phil. Thanks so much. Now, for everybody in the room, I've got a note up here. Some people can't hear the presenter, the roaster, because we're having conversations. So if you could just quiet the conversations now, because I want to have Andrew have the full brunt of what people are saying about you, okay? So thank you so much for that. Shh, thank you. All right, next up we have Judy Ann Bigby, Menschel Senior Leadership Fellow in the Division of Policy and Translation, and leadership development at Harvard School of Public Health's Department of Health Policy. Judy Ann is an expert in prevention, health promotion, and integration in public health, serving on President Obama's advisory council of the same name. From 2007 to 2013, she was the Massachusetts Secretary of Health and Human Services. Let's see Phil, Judy Ann. I don't know what this is saying, basically, Judy Ann, this intro right now. So I'm going to skip it so we can hear your music, and let's welcome you right now.
I feel good, like I knew that I would now. I feel good, just like I knew that I would. So good.
All right, do y'all feel good? I am very honored to be here to be a roaster of Andrew Dreyfus. Before I get to my roasting, I just want to say how proud I am to be here as part of this event for Whittier Health Center. I go all over the country to talk about healthcare reform and try to teach other people about what we did in Massachusetts. And I always talk about the important role of community health centers. We have over 50 health centers in Massachusetts. There are some states that are geographically 10 times our size that may have 10. I can't imagine how they're going to do healthcare reform and get everybody care given that circumstance. So Whittier Street is very important to what we've accomplished here, along with all the other health centers. So thank you, Frederica, for your leadership. I first met Andrew, I think, when he was president of the foundation. And everyone has talked about his passion for developing a pathway to universal coverage in Massachusetts. And I can tell you that in the times that I interacted with him when he was president, he was passionate about that, but he was also concerned about those who, even with universal coverage, might not get the best care, or might not get the type of care that they needed. He wanted to know, how do we deal with disparities? What do we do to fix it? I was very impressed with Andrew's respect for people when I met with him, and also, as everyone has already pointed out, his evenness. Cool, calm, and collected. He was also compassionate, though, so we have to add that C to the string there. Now, about a year ago, I called up Andrew and I said, can we have lunch to catch up on payment reform in Massachusetts? And I went over to Landmark and I met him over there and we had lunch. We actually agreed about a lot in terms of payment reform, so we didn't have that much to talk about. We started talking about, however, he mentioned that he had his pedometer. And he was showing me the different things that it did, and you've already heard about his passion to be walking. Well, Reverend, you talked about how you read in the Boston Globe that Andrew was in this competition with his daughter. Well, I heard about it firsthand. And let me tell you, when you want to talk about animation and that evenness kind of getting up off of the chair there for the first time, when Andrew started talking about the competition with his daughter, he was really serious about it, intense. So another C that you can add to the cool, calm, collected, and compassionate is competitive. And he told me about how it was really unfair that his daughter could get home from school, and if she looked at her pedometer and didn't have enough steps, she could go out and walk around the block or walk somewhere else. And he was very focused on that. So I learned a lot about Andrew that day. He was promoting wellness for his daughter by being in this competition. A couple of weeks ago, I was going to Denver, and as I went through the screen, it went off, and they asked me what it was I had on my waist. I have given up my car for the last month or so, and am walking and using public transportation to go everywhere. And I started to wear a pedometer, except I forgot that I had it on. And I was so annoyed that it triggered the screen at the airport, but then I thought, wait a minute. This is just testimony to Andrew. He probably has this happen to him all the time. It's just second nature to him that he's got that pedometer on his waist. He never thinks about when he's going through a checkpoint that he's got to take it off. So Andrew, thank you for being compassionate. Thank you for your evenness in your leadership around healthcare in Massachusetts and being willing to have everyone at the table. And thank you for your competitiveness about walking.
Judy Ann Bigby, everyone, one more time. Thank you. So as we continue our program and we're winding down, I just want to remind the folks who are in the back, because I can see you, the lights are bright up here, and the conversations are going on, and we can hear them actually. And so I want to make sure that everybody can hear the presenters. So if I can ask you right now to please quiet your conversations, and I'll wait. Thank you. Okay, so now we're getting back to fun. Nancy Turnbull, she is next up. And Nancy, you pointed out what I should say to you, but I lost your intro again. So I'm just going to bring you out right now, keep the program moving. She's our roaster. She's with Harvard. She's amazing. Let's welcome Nancy and hear her theme music.
Good evening, everyone. I'm delighted to be here at this wonderful event for the Whittier Street Health Center. And I have to say, particularly because it gives me a chance to make fun of Andrew, who I've known for just about 30 years almost. And I have to say, when Andrew and I met, I even then had gray hair. It may have gotten a little grayer knowing you over the years, Andrew. So most of you know. Could someone bring my slides up? Thank you. Most of you know this Andrew Dreyfus, the Chief Executive Officer, the CEO of Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Massachusetts. But I and any of you who have ever worked closely with Andrew know that he has a very strong and very evil CEO alter ego. And that alter ego is Andrew Dreyfus, Chief Editorial Officer. This man cannot resist editing everything, anything he comes into contact with, a report, an email, a memo, a matchbook cover, a cocktail napkin, any newspaper article in which he is mentioned or quoted. He, as Chief Editorial Officer, is possessed. Now, it's true that Andrew is one of the most superb writers and communicators you will ever meet. But Andrew's edits, and particularly the ones that he doesn't share with other people, often give you incredible insight into his personality. So I brought along tonight a couple of before and after examples, and there are literally thousands of them, to help you understand this unique part of Andrew's personality. And these are intended to show you the contrast between Andrew, the good CEO, the Chief Executive Officer, and Andrew, the obsessed CEO, the Chief Editorial Officer. So let's look at example number one. One of the things that Andrew does as the good CEO is he sends a welcome letter to every new employee of Blue Cross and Blue Shield within a month or two of them starting at the company. And under his leadership, this process is so well oiled at Blue Cross and Blue Shield that Andrew himself got a welcome letter signed by him back in the fall of 2010 when he became CEO. And this is a copy of the letter. It's a lovely letter. I'm sorry that you can't read it, but let me just summarize it for you. It welcomes him to Blue Cross and Blue Shield. He tells himself that he's glad he's joined the company. He says that he hopes he's settling in well. Tells him he's now part of a remarkable organization. Says that Blue Cross and Blue Shield is proud to be a health insurance leader in Massachusetts. He tells himself he's confident that he will become an important asset. And he says that he looks forward to working with himself. I think you'll agree it's a very chief executive officer-like letter. Now, I want to show you the version of this same letter after Andrew, the chief editorial officer, edited it. And since it might be a little hard to read, I want to highlight just a few of the edits. I think particularly because they show really how lonely life is as the CEO, and how you really need to booster and bolster your own spirit. So in this letter, he changed the sentence, Blue Cross and Blue Shield is proud to be recognized as a health insurance leader in Massachusetts, to Blue Cross Blue Shield is proud to be recognized as a health insurance leader in Massachusetts, especially after we just did our market perceptions of the CEO project. He edited the sentence, I am confident that you too will become an important asset to our company and a contributor to our success too. I am confident that you already are an important asset to our company and a contributor to our success. And then he took the phrase, I am looking forward to working with you, and edited it with really the much more supportive and encouraging, I am already enjoying working with you. So I ask you, how many of you have ever edited a letter that you received from yourself? In fact, how many of you have even ever sent a letter to yourself? So, okay. So now let's look at example number two. And I think this one shows that Andrew doesn't stop at just editing the written word, but in fact, in this age of such exciting technology, he's been able to develop new skills that have allowed him to expand his scope and range as chief editorial officer. So one of the Andrew's duties as the good CEO, the chief executive officer, is he has to represent Blue Cross Blue Shield at a lot of corporate and community events. One such event took place last summer. It was called the Red Sox versus Blue Cross Blue Shield Challenge. And this will be no surprise given some of the things you just heard about him, in which executives from each organization challenged each other to a competition to see which team could walk the most steps in a 3-week period, and this was part of Mayor Menino's Boston Moves for Health initiative. So I want to show you the original photo of Andrew at the kickoff to this event. So this is Andrew, the good CEO, on the field at Fenway Park with Mayor Menino, Larry Lucchino, the head of the Red Sox, and Barbara Ferrer, who's here tonight, the head of the Boston Public Health Commission. Now I want you to pay particular attention right now to the photo of Andrew and Larry on the Jumbotron, okay? So this is the original. Now I want to show you the edited version of the photo after Andrew, the chief editorial officer, finished working on it. And before I do, I want to note this is a very private photo. Andrew keeps it on the desktop of his personal office computer. I was only able to get a copy of this because of very lax HIPAA security at Blue Cross Blue Shield. So Andrew, you do need to work on that. Okay, so this is the edited version of the photo. Now, this is really so inspiring to me, because it shows that Andrew, whether as the good CEO or the obsessed CEO, is just so passionate about not missing an opportunity to proclaim the urgent need for payment reform in Massachusetts. And it also shows his incredible prowess with PowerPoint. You notice the animated flashing "Another Home Run for Andrew Dreyfus" banner. And if you click one more time, it even has this impressive fly-in. So, Andrew, I have often said that you are such a good writer that I would like you to write my obituary. I hope my comments tonight have not hastened the occurrence of that particular event. And I also want to let you know that there will be an edited version of my roast in my inbox by tomorrow morning. Thank you very much.
One more time for Nancy Turnbull. Excellent job. Last but certainly not least, let's welcome John Dukakis, Senior Vice President, Co-Director of Content at Hill Holiday.
Very superstitious writings on the wall. Very superstitious.
Good evening. I'm honored to be here tonight as the citizen member of the panel. I have to confess I was more than a little intimidated by the high-achieving people that I got to share the stage with tonight. Mayor, physician, 2 secretaries of Health and Human Services, a titan in academia. I find that the only common denominator I have with most folks here is that we're both high school graduates. Fortunately, I know Andrew Dreyfus from a different angle from my predecessors at the podium tonight. I count Andrew as one of my dearest friends on earth, and it's been that case for many years, despite the fact that he's significantly older than me. I'm not going to say how much, that would be tacky, but it's a lot. Like mine, Andrew's family were immigrants to our shores. My grandfather arrived about 100 years ago with $25 in his pocket. Andrew's great-great-great-grandfather arrived with $25 in his pocket and $3 million sewn into the lining of his coat. You know, finding fault and actually finding anything vaguely amusing about Andrew is a challenge. He's never had a reputation for walking on the wild side. In fact, the only evidence was that he was ever a risk taker is memorialized in this photo, which is not up. It's also the last known picture of Andrew without his signature beard. As a boy, you won't be surprised to hear that Andrew was earnest, serious, thoughtful, and old beyond his years. As a teenager, he was the one we sent to the Packy to buy beer and cigarettes because he never got carded. His big move away from home was when he went away to college in London. Well, actually, New London, which he referred to as the ends of New England. Of course, he did do an actual semester abroad in Londonderry. Well, actually, Londonderry, New Hampshire. After college, he took some time off, as many kids do, to go trekking the entire length of the Blue Hills. In fairness, he made a huge move 20 years ago when he emigrated from Brookline to what he called the western part of the state. And he's lived in his Newton home ever since. He's only been married once. Yeah, in Los Angeles, that got a bigger joke, a bigger laugh. He has the perfect zero population growth number of kids, too. You know, Andrew fits into health insurance world like a hand in glove. I apologize. Up until tonight, this is what I thought healthcare executives looked like. It's a culture where people speak in a language that's foreign to the rest of us, a world where they use pickup lines like, "What's your medical loss ratio?" Or, "Is that a federal grant for health IT and EMR integration in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?" As some of you may remember, my father famously read books like Swedish Land Use Planning while on vacation. Andrew's different, and he knows how to shift gears and take it easy once in a while. Here he is relaxing on the beach. While he's pretty buttoned up most of the time, a few of us know him well, know he has some idiosyncrasies. Andrew hates traffic. A lot. To give you an idea of how much, you know how painful it was to watch this the other day during March Madness? Well, for Andrew, this is just as painful. Don't worry, I'm not going to leave it up long. Andrew hates traffic like Mitt Romney hates a fixed policy position or discussions about pet care, or Michelle Bachmann hates facts. To avoid the plague of traffic, Andrew has had to make sacrifices. He's never seen the fourth quarter of any basketball or football game, the third period of any hockey game, or the 7th, 8th, or 9th inning of any baseball game ever. He doesn't know that the Red Sox even made it into the World Series in 2004, or that Havlicek stole the ball. He's also never seen the last act of any play or movie. Andrew saw most of the film Lincoln and also most of Zero Dark 30, but for all Andrew knows, Abe Lincoln and bin Laden are currently hanging out together on a beach in southern Thailand. He doesn't think Rudy ever got any playing time. He thinks Norman Bates still lives happily with his mom. And that Kevin McAllister is still home, alone. For all he knows, Morgan Freeman's character is still in Shawshank Prison. You know, Andrew loves his son Eli, but Eli, who is here tonight, doesn't realize how lucky he is that Dreyfus comes at the beginning of the alphabet, because if his name was Walker or Young or Zenker, Andrew would never have seen him stride across the stage to accept his diploma. I hope you all got a chance to shake his hand earlier, because there's an excellent chance Andrew will be leaving before the end of his own speech. While he might not be the most exciting guy, Andrew is a man of honor and real accomplishments. As his friend and confidant of many years, I think it's my duty to look ahead on his behalf. He loves what he does, and I know he's looking forward to being at Blue Cross Blue Shield for a long while. But nevertheless, I feel duty-bound to do some thinking about how to keep his options open. Unfortunately, a few of the roles I had looked at for him have recently been filled. He's not going to be the manager of the Red Sox. He's not really qualified to be Pope. He's Jewish, and remember, he won't leave Newton. And some of those opportunities have just plain disappeared. Yes, sorry. Others will be filled before he has a chance to explore them. Again, he lives in Newton, so that's a problem. I also thought that he might be able to fill my dad's old shoes as governor someday. But let's face it, who would take a health insurance CEO seriously as a candidate for governor? Oh. But we can dream about a campaign like that. Imagine a campaign where every debate would be a heated discussion about capitation and the consequences of overutilization or electronic medical records privacy concerns. Scintillating stuff. Anyway, I'm very proud to be here. I'm proud that Andrew and Lynn and their wonderful kids are still close friends to us. And I'm very happy that he got this honor that is certainly richly deserved. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks to all of our rosters, and again, thanks to all of you for being here with us this evening. Now that we've heard the scoop on Andrew, it's his turn to pay back if he so chooses to do so. But before he does, I'd like to invite him to the podium for a quick presentation. I'm sure you guys saw this in the invitation we sent out. Andrew, we are proud of you as a compassionate business leader, healthcare advocate, and coalition builder, and a wonderful friend of Whittier Street Health Center. And we have another award. And this award, Andrew, is on behalf of all of the patients and the Whittier Street Health Center staff. You've just been a wonderful supporter of our mission to address racial and ethnic disparities in healthcare and social disparities. Thanks for all you've done, for your compassionate leadership, your friendship to me as a role model, and for all you've done for our community and all the underserved communities in Boston. Thank you.
Yeah, I can't wait. Okay, it's 9 o'clock. We need to get out of here. You know, this feels a little like coming full circle for me. I think it was Phil, or no, actually it was Reverend Hammond in his roasting invocation, who mentioned I started my professional life as a journalist. I was the editor of the South End News right out of college. And while that may sound like a kind of elevated position, as the editor of a fledgling young newspaper, I also got to deliver the paper. And my paper route started every Wednesday about a block from the Whittier Street Health Center in Lower Roxbury. So I feel like I'm coming full circle. I have a lot of people to thank tonight, but I want to start by just acknowledging the extraordinary work that Frederica and her team do at Whittier. This is a jewel in our city. You know, we're here one night a year to roast someone and to celebrate, but Frederica and her team are there every single day helping people who no one else often can help get the health care they need. So it's extraordinary. Thank you, Frederica. I want to thank the co-chairs tonight, Paul Grogan, fellow roastee, and a great leader in Boston, the head of the Boston Foundation, Matt Fishman, who, as he said, I've worked with for nearly 30 years, and there's probably no one in Boston who understands the intersection of health and community better than Matt. Matt, thank you and Partners Healthcare for their generous contribution tonight. Phil was one of the co-chairs, and he was relentless, as many of you in the audience know, as he shook you down to money for this event. But if you didn't appreciate it, that Phil has a special relationship with Frederica and with Whittier, and I'm surprised no one mentioned it tonight, but Frederica actually calls him Uncle Phil. He's so important to Whittier. Mayor Menino, he left, but he's just extraordinary, and what he's given this city and healthcare for the last 20 years is remarkable. Reverend Hammond, you know, you broke the mold with your invocation tonight. You're a great friend, and what you've done, kind of bridging divides and promoting racial harmony in the city is unequaled. Thank you. To everyone who sponsored a table or wrote a check, I just want to thank you. Your contributions are going to help Whittier every day. There's a big Blue Cross family here tonight. I want to thank a couple of our board members, Tim Sweeney, Benny Wiley, her husband Flash is here, another past, I think maybe the original Roasty, and of course Phil. And there are many associates who work at Blue Cross in the audience, and I just want to tell each of you, that I'm honored and grateful to work with you, with such a talented and committed group of people. You make our vision to make quality healthcare affordable real every day. So thank you to all my Blue Cross family here. There were some special people who did a lot for this event: Sarah Island, Jeff Bellows, Yvonne Tang, and Sue Harvey. Thank you for tolerating me. My edits, I did make a few edits. They practically shoved me out of the office tonight. There's a big turnout, a group of my friends and family here tonight, thanks to my mother, whose big task tonight was try not to cry, and I think she was somewhat successful. My brothers, Peter and Tony, and their wives. My son Eli, the aspiring musician, who's graduating from college in 6 weeks and took what he described as a terrifying flight in a small plane from upstate New York to be with us tonight. My now famous daughter Leah, who keeps me active every day on our walking challenge. And by the way, she's been winning all week. But what you don't know about Leah is her favorite phrase, especially when I get a little bossy in the house, is she likes to say, "Dad, you're not the CEO of this house." And finally, Lynn, my wife, without her support, I couldn't give this job, which is demanding the time and energy it needs. One big reason that she allows that, and she's been so supportive, is because she shares my values and my commitment to make healthcare better. And Lynn, despite those reviews, you'll always be stunning to me. Now, the roasters, thanks for sharing your stories. Now, I know you all well enough that I have a few stories of my own, but I decided to mostly spare your reputations. John, who, by the way, is older than me, you know, you might have a future political career. I could end it right here, right now, but I'm going to resist. But I couldn't resist Phil. I couldn't resist a little story about Phil, because, you know, he told some good stories about how we used to work together, but he failed to explain why my hair was dark before I started working for him and white after I started working with him. So it was 1987. Let me take you back. There was an investigation going on, a little institution called Bridgewater State Hospital. And it became such a big issue that it became national news. And Nightline, then one of the most watched news shows in America, decided to investigate Bridgewater State Hospital. And they did a special show just on a single hospital in Massachusetts. And of course, Phil had to be on the show. And he was being interviewed by Ted Koppel, and Ted Koppel was hammering him, asking him questions about Bridgewater State Hospital. And right at the end of the show, he said, "Mr. Johnston, will you let Nightline's cameras into Bridgewater State Hospital?" And without missing a beat, Phil said, "This is to a national audience, tens of millions of people. Just call Andrew Dreyfus in the morning." My hair has been white ever since. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight, for having some fun at my expense, but mostly for supporting this remarkable organization, Whittier Street Health Center. As I said, just a jewel in the city. Thank you so much.
Thank you all so much for all you've done this evening to honor Andrew Dreyfus and to show your support for Whittier Street Health Center. Have a safe trip home, and we hope to see you next year. Have a good night.
First I was afraid, I was petrified, kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent so many nights just thinking thinking how you did me wrong, that I grew strong, and I learned how to get along. And so you're back from outer space. I just walked in to find you here with that sad look upon your face. I should have changed that stupid lock. I should have made you leave your key. If I'd have known for just 1 second you'd be back to bother me. Go on now, go. Walk out the door. Just turn around now, 'cause you're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one who tried to hurt me with goodbyes? Did you think I'd crumble? Did you think I'd lay down and die? Oh no, not I. I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive. I got all my life to live. I got all my love to give, and I'll survive. I will survive. Hey, hey. Well, it took all the strength I had not to fall apart. Kept trying hard to mend the pieces of my broken heart. And I spent oh so many nights just feeling sorry for myself. I used to cry. Well, now I hold my head up high and you see me, somebody new. I'm not the chained up little person still in love with you. And so you felt like dropping in and just expect me to be free. Now I'm saving all my loving for some water to